Okay, good morning. It shows 0700. My name is Paul Carlos. I'm the Plan Section Chief Trainee for Incident Management Team 1, and this is the operational briefing for the west zone of the Dixie incident for August 31st, 2021. If I can get everybody to turn down their phones, take sidebar conversations out of the briefing area, I'd appreciate it. Coming up, incident situational update, night ops.
Good morning, Magnus Johnson, Incident Management Team 1, Night Operations. Branch 9, nice and quiet, still maintaining what we have in there, and they didn't have anything new. Branch 13, it'll work. They have a lot of work that they're doing in Branch 13, in Division Oscar and Papa. If we roll over into Branch 16 in the Lassen sector, Quebec and Romeo had some activity yesterday when the thing stood up. They are reinforcing line down at the division break all the way out to the Westwood logging road up and trying to maintain that in there. In the middle, in the Westwood sector, calls for service, a little bit of stuff out there in Mountain Meadow and around the lake looking good. Janesville branch continues to reinforce and build line, 2 going that way, 2 coming this way. End of report.
There have been no changes to the management objectives. There has been one change to the control objective. So if you follow along with me on the 202, keep the fire north of Grizzly Ridge and Davis Lake. Keep the fire south of Harvey Valley Road. Keep the fire east of Ponderosa Way and within established control lines. Keep the fire west of Highway 395 while ensuring infrastructure defense in the communities of Janesville and Milford. Weather.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Derek Williams, incident meteorologist. Red flag warning continues through 11 p.m. late this evening for gusty southwest winds that will develop later this afternoon and very low relative humidity. We have a shallow inversion that developed overnight. In some locations on the mid and upper slopes didn't reach 20% recovery. They're still in the teens. So that'll give you an indication of how dry it is out there. As we go through the morning hours, expect those winds to begin surfacing around noon, and the inversion basically mixing out by 1400. So that process is going to start pretty early with the less smoke that we have. So things are going to heat up pretty quickly. Wind speeds, again, from the southwest on ridge tops, 10 to 20 miles an hour, sustained winds with gusts to 30 miles an hour. Even in the valleys, we saw some gusts of 20 to close to 25 miles an hour yesterday, even in the sheltered valleys. So it's going to be another gusty, kind of breezy day, and very low humidity. That'll equate to critical fire weather conditions. So that's the primary concern. So Lassen sector, branch 16, winds could be just a little bit lighter than they were yesterday, but still, it's with that humidity being so low, it's still a critical fire weather condition up there. The strongest winds will be across the Janesville area, the 395 corridor, and then there are some indications that late this evening, those winds will come down that escarpment and be gusting close to 35 miles an hour. Again, late evening, everything should calm down, and those red flag conditions will wane. So still have some gusty winds for tomorrow. Not quite as strong, but I would consider it an elevated fire weather situation tomorrow, Wednesday. Let's see. Yeah, RHs are still really dry, still going to be very dry, no chance of rain, no clouds or anything. And the winds, especially Thursday and Friday, will start to come down, but still remain out of the southwest. That's all I have. Have a safe shift.
Fire behavior.
Good morning, Don Watt with Fire Behavior. So as you heard from the IMET, we still have that wind component today, along with a fuels advisory. They just re-upped it for September. No surprise, we haven't had any rain, any change. So the fuels are dry, we have the wind conditions. So starting up here, branch 13, it's going to be pretty good for them. That wind's going to want to keep pushing that fire back into the top. It's going to flank out throughout the day towards those control lines, but it's not going to make a hard run to the west. Big issue, branch 16, you're going to have those winds coming across. You're still going to have that spotting potential. We are changing fuel slightly. It's a little more open stand. You have a little more shorter brush out there. You will get spots. I'm not going to say you aren't, but it should be a little bit less in consistency, and they probably won't carry as much. As long as we continue to have that wind overriding the column, we'll have short to mid-range spotting. If we start seeing that column development today, expect long-range spotting. But you have good advantages out here, and this is an opportunity, especially along the logging road and 44. There's some good areas that have potential to, the fire may move fast, but you're not going to have the resonance or the spotting potential out of it. The other big issue is going to be down here where the antelope, or the Janesville branch is coming off the main fire. That moved pretty good yesterday. Right now, it's sitting on the backside of a slope with one spot out ahead of it. It has potential to move across that valley, get back up on the ridge, right up in here, and it's going to be exposed to the wind again. When we get those winds, they will blow this fire across. It's an open stand, more sagebrush. It will move at a rapid pace. As you heard the IMET talking about, the winds across the escarpment, if you're working down here, those winds will not just die down on the backside of the escarpment. They will push down slope and across 395. So if you're working that area, just be aware. There's a lot of history between the Beckworth, the Eagle Fire back in 1989, that fire will move rapidly down slope and have erratic winds. You have two converging wind sources, so expect very much the possibility of just fire whirls, increased behavior. So if you're working down here, make sure you know where that main fire is at. Have a lookout and be ready for it. Throughout the day, just make sure you have escape routes, safety zones, know what the fire's doing. Be aware that even though we have a southwest to west component today, the topography will change the wind pattern throughout the day. So know what it's doing and know what it's doing in your area. Have a safe shift.
Operational work assignments, operations.
Good morning. My name is Mike Wing. I'll be your operations again today. So let's start out by going around the horn. We're going to start with some good news this morning. Branch 9. A lot of great effort over the last several weeks going on in there. There's some changes going on in there. Some of the evacuation orders have been lifted. Some of the roads are being opened. Some of those folks are getting back in there. Take a minute to talk to them if they flag you down. Expect those calls for service. As we have more folks in there, they're going to be having little things that they observe that they're going to want you to address. Great anxiety for them, and I know you guys will do a good job. So continue all the efforts in Branch 9. We're going to move up here into Branch 13. A lot of good effort continues in the park. Like I said, not a lot of black line on the park, but they're getting close to turning the corner on a lot of stuff. They've been working on fuels reduction and building line for several weeks now, and everything holding here off of West Prospect coming down into Rail Canyon. No change there. As we get up here into Old Station, primary line, secondary, contingency, and then going around all the values at risk. Those efforts around Old Station will continue until there's black line here in Branch 13. So once you think you're done, you're going to start over and make it better, or you're going to look for more opportunities. Those efforts will be ongoing until this piece is contained. Okay? Coming over here into Branch 16, that's where the fire growth in the west zone was yesterday. You know, it did continue out of the Caribou Wilderness, going to the east and a little bit to the north. All right? So that prompted last night the road closure from A21 to Old Station on Highway 44. It was getting too close to the road. Visibility was really down with the smoke. It wasn't safe for the public to be in there, so that piece of road is closed. The Hall Road that parallels the old A21, the Hall Road that goes right up here, this just shows Dozer Line. It's a good road. The fuel modeling and the fire behavior modeling shows there's a good opportunity as it transitions out of the heavy timber into there. There's a chance that we could hold that. One model shows it getting out. We're making a plan for that. Your next line is Highway 44, and then you've got the train tracks. Don't forget, the fire train will be there today. They've got 30,000 gallons of water and retardant. You know, use them as needed. So we've got the Hall Road, we got 44, we've got the train tracks, and then we're getting into the next box here on the north side. You've got additional leadership in there. It's a really complex piece. It has great potential to spread with the red flag conditions today. So make sure everybody knows what the plan is. You have a good briefing. You know where your safety zones are. Coming down here into Westwood, Things are looking real good in here. Going to see some more black line on the map tomorrow. This piece here above Westwood, we're looking at that. This piece behind the SPI headquarters is looking good. Still giving us some problems out here in the peat moss. A little bit of heat over here in the trees, but nothing significant. Still having calls for service in Chester, West Almanor, and East Almanor. So those folks are still busy over there, but they're going to be listening to the radio. And if we have extreme fire behavior and rapid growth someplace up here or over here in Janesville branch, they'll be listening. They'll be making sure they come and help. As we come down now around to the Janesville branch, same message as yesterday. The work assignments are to continue to build line to the north, above Janesville towards the Susanville Valley, continue to build lines to the south towards the Beckworth complex, and then continue to defend Milford and run parallel to 395. So we got multiple layers. The branches down here in Janesville and the Westwood sector are going to be meeting with the leadership branches from the East Zone this morning. Before they leave camp, they're going to make phone contact. They're going to meet in the dirt. They're going to come up with a good plan. Accountability is really important. We're on different frequencies. We're going to be working together like we have been, but we're going to be working together as the fire gets closer and continues to come this way. Okay? You've heard the IMET and the F-band talk about, you saw yesterday, this was down in here and made a several mile run in the last 24 hours. And with these winds, it's likely to continue to do that. All right. You also heard the fire behavior analysts talk about this 395 corridor. Okay. Very extreme conditions when it comes off that escarpment. If it gets close to the escarpment, we're likely going to reevaluate and redeploy resources down here in Milford in the 395. When it came into Janesville, and you're here a couple weeks ago, you've heard me say it multiple times, erratic, extreme fire behavior. Same thing in Doyle. Look it up online, Google it, look at the fire in Doyle. They were in a big safety zone, fire whirls, extreme fire behavior, throwing debris 6+ inches in diameter, breaking windows out of vehicles in a safety zone. Okay, this is no joke. Don't be surprised of extreme erratic fire behavior on Highway 395. There's no fire history saying that when it crosses 395 that it would keep going. It is very receptive to fire control efforts in that grass. However, 2021 is setting all kinds of new fire behavior and records on that stuff. So make sure we have a plan. We're talking to those folks in Hurlong, in the Sierra Army Depot, and in the prison, making sure they have a plan. It is possible. We are planning for that. But there is no historical precedent set for that happening. IWI. This is a really big incident. We could be briefing to a 5,000 acre fire or an almost 800,000 acre fire, and it all looks the same on this board. It's huge. You guys are out there. If you have an IWI, Dutch Creek protocol, right? Everybody's got those safety cards. Set that 20-minute timer, set that command presence, give all the information. Don't plan on aircraft being part of your plan. Make sure you get moving. Go towards help. Don't wait for people to arrive. Get your injured person going towards help. No waiting. It's too big, okay? That's a priority. Accountability. We still have extreme fire behavior conditions out there. Accountability. Every water tender, every dozer operator, the leadership needs to know where you are. My challenge to you is you make sure they know where you are too. If things get extreme out here, we got to know where everybody is. Everybody's got to know where their safety zone is. Everybody's got to know where their escape route is. Everybody's got to have comms. Comms are difficult out here. Up here in Branch 16, there's some really difficult areas. You need to be familiar with how everything in your radio works. If you have questions, go to comms and get your answers this morning before you get out there. It's critical. This fire ran 147,000 acres in a 2-day period about a month ago. It has the potential to get up and run in any of these places where you're in Branch 16 or over here, this piece is coming into Janesville. It could happen. Today is still red flag. Conditions are going to moderate tonight. Tomorrow they're saying, well, it's still a fire of concern. Yeah, it's a fire of concern. There's a lot of fire out there. So make sure you have a plan. Keep your head on a swivel. Have accountability. Have a good shift.
Sector and branch divisional roll call resources.
Good morning, Jordan Weber with resources for your sector, branch, and division roll call. When you hear your name, please stand. Starting in the Shasta sector, Fields. Here. Division Juliet, Ortegal. Here. Division Lima, Avila. Here. Branch 13, Klemic. Here. And trainee English. Here. And then divisions November, Oscar, and the Lassen IA group are all briefing in the field. Division Papa, Bots. And starting in the Lassen sector, Prather. Here. Branch 16, Petro. Here. Division Quebec, Cox. Here. Division Romeo, Milovich. Here. We have a change here in the Westwood sector, so if everybody get their pen out, the sector will be Rayleigh. Here. Duffy, Maishak. Here. Westwood, Lauer. Lassen Fire Suppression Repair, Hauser. In the Janesville branch, we have another change for an addition, starting with Walton and Benhoven. Milford, Galvez. Hicks, Sanchez. Antelope, Carter. Thank you, everyone. Have a safe shift.
Air operations.
Good morning. Matt Hill, Air Operations, CAL FIRE Team 1. The lineup for today, fixed wing. We have Air Attack, ASM, 2 VLATs, and 1 LAT. For rotor wing, we have 14 Type 1 water droppers, 3 Type 2s, 6 Type 3s. We have Guard 840 and Guard 822 as our 24-hour ALS hoists. And then we have 2 UAS modules. We have 2 helibases, 1 at Eagle, and then 1 over at Battle Creek, and we have 1 MRB at Old Station. Make sure you're monitoring air-to-ground command for divisions and above, and then air-to-ground TAC for everyone else. Make it a safe shift.
Communications.
Hi, good morning, Corey Costa, Commel trainee. For today's operational period of August 31st, there is no changes to the radio clone. Your last clone was August 24th and 25th. The West Zone 205s will be on page 44 and 45, and the East Zone 205 will be on page 46. So a quick review on some tactical channels. Remember, tactical channels are line of sight. They're not repeated channel. We have very large divisions. We have an almost 800,000 acre fire. Your divisions are large. I understand that. But if you're on a TAC channel and you're talking to someone and they're on the other side of that mountain over there on a tactical, you will not hear them and they will not hear you. So remember, get to a high point, human repeater, all those things you need to keep into your mindset of what can I do to communicate on my tactical channels. As far as any questions, concerns, I think operations kind of hit the nail on the head with it. Come by communications. If you're not sure about your radio, you're not sure about our plan, come see us. We will definitely help you out, and we'll answer any questions and show you the right way. Communications is back over in the corner over there, adjacent to the mill. Have a safe shift.
Medical.
Good morning, Race Wickless, Medical Unit Leader. Today your 206 can be found on page 48. For any in-camp medical needs or supplies, CalMat's located over here to your left. Also, MERT is located directly behind the mill, closer to the entrance to camp. We have line medics assigned throughout the incident, and ambulance staging locations can be found in box 6. Box 8 is your line emergencies procedures. Like operations said, make sure you know that. Make sure everybody in your crew knows it. We also have the quick reference cards that were located in the back near where you picked up your IEPs. Pick one up before you leave. Thank you. Have a safe shift.
Safety.
Good morning, Clenny Hamilton, Team 1 Safety. We've had a lot of conversation this morning about fire weather and the changing dynamic fire environment we're in. A couple things: pre-plan and communicate your travel routes within your assigned division assignments, and communicate that with all your personnel. Another thing, for the high winds up here, you guys, we have limited resources, so maintain your hand on your door. It may seem simple, but we don't want doors ripped off equipment by the high winds, so be mindful of that. Also, COVID-19, be familiar with your COVID-19 safe practices. There's a reference document in the IEP for you. Lastly, driving. We moved base camp. We're doing a lot more driving through the proper area of Susanville. Be aware of your speeds, your spacing, and pedestrians. Have a safe shift.
Information.
Good morning, Emily Smith, Public Information. If you'd like to join me on page 57, and I have some updated numbers for you to write down. On the Dixie incident, the current acreage is 807,396 acres. We're at 48% containment with 3,123 personnel assigned. On this page, you'll also find the CAL FIRE and federal social media policies. Please continue to adhere to those policies. If you have video content or pictures that you would like to post or use back home, please come by the PIO shop first so we can vet those, or you can also utilize the Gmail address at the bottom of the page. We do have quite a bit of lost and found. That is all located at the front trailer, so as you come through the gate, there's a PIO trailer right by the weed wash area. That lost and found will be there, as well as any mail. So there is a new mail address to this location. Please use this one. If you have had something sent to the fairgrounds, we are continuing to check back over there and bring those items to that front trailer. Thank you. Have a great day.
Logistics.
Good morning, Jacob Garrett Logistics. If you turn to page 51 of your IEP, that is the services schedule for all your logistical needs here at this camp and the Highlands Ranch camp. On page 64 is your traffic map. That's how you get in to get fuel, the main entrance to this camp, and to the Mallory camp. On page 65 and 66 is your camp maps that identify where all your logistical needs are located here on this facility. Also, we do now have laundry here. It's on the far east side of the MKU. We have now established a traffic plan here at this camp. You cannot enter this camp through the fuel. Please be polite and respectful to the 3 C's and security that are directing you guys to turn around and use the main entrance. They're doing that under our direction. That's for the safety of everybody that's walking through this camp. Also, supplies still on a limited distribution, should be fully operational by tomorrow. Have a safe shift.
Final comments, our incident commander.
Hey, good morning. George Huang, Deputy Incident Commander of CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1, representing Unified ICs with the Forest Service. It's amazing how August 31st today, being that 14 years ago, the Zaka fire, if you don't remember that one, 240,000 acres, that was the second largest fire during that time. And today, the Dixie fire itself is 807,000 acres. Just the facts and the fields that we're dealing with in California, what we're dealing with today is just unbelievable. We know that red flag warnings exist today, and everything that work that you guys put in the last couple shifts, continue to reinforce those lines. It's key, it's critical. Everything that we're going to try to hold today, everything that we're going to try to hold tomorrow is going to be key to our success. Please continue to work hard and be diligent at what you guys are doing out there. Additional facts that you guys want to know, just remember that we have some out-of-state resources here. I'm acknowledging them to say thank you, because one, the fact that August 31st of last year, Diana Jones from Texas, state of Texas, lost her life fighting the fire at the August complex, and that's out-of-state resources. We have a lot of out-of-state resources here helping us, so I want to take a second to recognize her and all the agencies that are helping us. And lastly, it's 40-something days on this fire. It doesn't matter what agency you're from, Forest Service, CAL FIRE, doesn't matter, LA City, Ventura, it does not matter. We're here representing the communities of this area that we're serving to protect, and I ask you go out there and remember, constituents to the people that we serve and represent. Thank you.
Okay, copy. That concludes our briefing. Next briefing will be tomorrow morning, 0700, same location. Your breakouts are over here, starting on the left, your right. Branch 9 moving along the horn, a staging area over here in the back corner. Unassigned resources, please report to the back table where you picked up your IEPs to tie in with resources. Thank you. Have a safe shift.